Warning, the following podcast contains goodwill, cheer, festive wishes, and maybe some butchering of your native language. We apologise in advance.
It is day 11.
Wow.
Day 11.
That's
it
crazy.
is Christmas Eve right now.
It is indeed.
Dun, 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 dun. Well, it's Christmas Eve here in Australia anyway, so wherever you are, it might be a little bit out by, 1 or 2 hours, but it's Christmas Eve here, so we are going to be talking about the big fat guy that's going to come to your house today. And I don't mean Uncle Jimmy, okay? I mean the guy that gives you gifts. Kind of like Uncle Jimmy, but not Uncle Jimmy, okay? It's not Uncle Jimmy! Uncle Jimmy's not in this. No Uncle Jimmy. We are going to be talking about the big guy, Mr. Santa Claus.
Mr. Santa Claus.
Now, there's a few different names that he goes under, and a couple of different ideas, like as we talked about earlier in these podcasts, like in Italy and in Russia and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's babushka, which is a lady that does it. But what we've done here is that we're going to quickly cut through about 10 of them super quick, basically saying where they're from and what they do and quickly how they give the gifts. So this one might be a little bit longer than the other ones we've been doing, but it's quite interesting to go from thinking about Santa Claus being the big red guy in the suit and the white hair and the big beard and all the ho-ho-hos and all that kind of stuff,
Exactly.
to the different ways around the world. So Bex, if you would like to tell us super quick, what do they do in Iceland?
In Iceland, indeed. Well, in Iceland, Santa Claus is called the Yule Lads. They are, or the Yulemen, and they're a group of 13 mischievous creatures that have largely taken the place of Santa Claus in the Icelandic celebration of Christmas. Their first major appearance can be tracked back to the early 30s when an Icelandic writer composed a short poem describing their role in the Christmas season. Since then, they've gone through many incarnations, from lovable gift givers to annoying pests. And they have even been painted as bloodthirsty creatures that kidnap and eat children in the night.
Which
That
is what you want to hear
miserable.
before you go to bed. Hey, if you wake up tomorrow morning, you'll get gifts if you want.
Mostly, though, the Yule Lads have become known for their playful nature. Each of the 13 is known for being different, a different and often quite weird trick, or playing a different trick. Their gift-giving styles, the Yule Lads aren't just about playing strange pranks. They also give gifts to children accompanied by the Yuletide cat, which is described as a hungry beast that is known to eat bad children. They place small gifts in the shoes of well-behaved children in the 13 nights leading up to Christmas Eve. Naughty children, meanwhile, are given potatoes. Woo!
As you do.
I want potatoes.
Various locations around Scandinavia, it's called, there is a Tomte legend, I'm guessing, Tomte,
Indeed.
which can be found in, Norway, Finland, Sweden, all that kind of stuff. It's said to be a small gnomish characters who keep watch over family farms. They're generally kind, look out for people, but they're just like me. They've got short fuses and are quick to beat up or play tricks on those who aren't good, who weren't good stewardess on the farmlands. Yeah, I hate when people aren't good on farmlands. I will beat them senseless. Over time, and the increasing influence of Christianity, they've eventually become integrated into a more traditional celebration of Christmas. Their appearance has changed too. They used to look, as I said, gnomey. Now they look more like Santa Claus. Their gift-giving style is slightly different to Santa, most noticeably because they tend not to be fat, but they also seem to drive a sleigh, they drive a sleigh, but it doesn't fly. They don't live in the North Pole either. In fact, in some regions, children are told that the characters live in the woods just outside their house. Aww. Also unique in that is that the Tomte kids bring gifts to kids. He doesn't sneak into the house through the chimney at night. Instead, a parent or relative will dress up like the character and bring the gifts to the people in person. That's quite nice.
That's lovely. In parts of Germany, Austria, Italy and Brazil, their character is known as Christkind, or Christkind, I'm not quite sure, which is the Christ child. He's a holiday giver associated with different parts of the world where Christianity is the main religion. He was popularized in the 1500s by Martin Luther, who hoped that more religion-based holiday figures would help stamp out what he saw as a corrupt influence of St. Nicholas. Since he is supposed to literally be the baby Jesus, Christkind is usually depicted as a small saintly child with blonde hair and wings of an angel. The influence of Christkind as the sole holiday figure has waned with the increasing popularity of Santa Claus, but it is widely celebrated. especially in the more largely Catholic regions of the South and Central America. My goodness.
We did read these, people.
We did read them before.
These.
I just stuffed up a little. Unlike many holiday gift givers, the Christ kind is never actually seen. Gifts are exchanged to honour the spirit of the Magi, bringing gifts to the baby Jesus. But Christ kind himself doesn't ever make an appearance. And children are often told that he disappeared just moments before they arrived.
That's pretty cool. In Germany, Austria, Argentina, United States, well, the Pennsylvanian Dutch people of the United States, there's a guy, the legendary figure by the name of Belznickel, who accompanies Santa Claus around the area. Like the Krampus in Germany and Austria, or La Paix Fortet. Yeah, in France. The role of Belznickel is the main disciplinary of Santa's entourage. So basically, Santa will give out the gifts, and here's the one that the children fear. Or the character thing, they help him out. His gift-giving style normally comes off as, although he is generally seen as a negative figure, some reason he's also known to give gifts. In Germany, for example, well-behaved kids are given candy and small gifts on December 6th, which of course is the feast day of St. Nicholas. Naughty children, on the other hand, are given coal or switches, and in some places they even receive a visit from Belznickel himself and warn them that they should be on their best behaviour. Otherwise, things are about to go down, if you know what I'm saying. So,
in France, Père Noël or La Père Fouettard, Papa Noel is one of the most popular incarnations of Saint Nick and Père Noël from France. And he is one of the more famous ones. He resembles Santa Claus in appearance, but instead of using reindeer, he rides a single donkey called Guy, which means mistletoe in French. France also celebrates St. Nicholas Day on the 5th. For this holiday, along with the traditional St. Nick figure, the French also have a character called La Père Fouettard, the whipping father. Like Belznickel, he's a figure who's supposed to be feared by naughty children, and based on his backstory, it's easy to see why. In the most popular version, it is said that in the 1100s, La Père Fouettard and his wife kidnapped and murdered 3 young men and then cooked them into stew. After the victims were discovered and brought back to life by the benevolent St. Nicholas, La Père Fouettard repented his evil deeds and vowed to serve his helper. Like Santa Claus and many other variations of Santa, Père Noël places small gifts and candy in shoes left next to the fireplace. La Père Fouettard, meanwhile, is less cheerful. He carries rusty chains and switches and doles out floggings to children who misbehave.
That is nuts.
It is actually. It's quite.
It's gone from, hey, you're going to get potatoes and coal to, I will eat you. I will cook you into a stew and eat you.
Indeed.
Gosh in heaven. All right, sweet. Quickly moving on, super quick. We're going to Italy now. Similar to Santa Claus, they've got, as we mentioned in the last episode, they've got the Befana, which is a witch-like character who has become a big part of Yuletime celebrations. Her backstory varies, but the most popular version is that she was once a kind woman who gave food and shelter to the 3 wise men who were going to find the baby Jesus. Much like the traditional Halloween witch, the Befana is portrayed as an old hag who rides a broomstick, typically wears a black shawl and carries a bag of gifts. And that was something just falling on the ground there, but oh well, we're going to keep going because why not? She supposedly does not like to be seen and is said to whack any child who spies her with a broomstick. No doubt a clever way of keeping the kids in bed. So there you go. Santa Claus, like Santa Claus, La Befana supposedly climbs down the chimney, gives gifts to the kids, and is also known to leave a piece of coal or ash for those who have been naughty. It's also said too that the reason why it's so clean is because Befana was our best housekeeper in all of Italy. So she cleans up after she's been.
That's so lovely.
So you can't see that she's been there or not.
Exactly. Alrighty, moving on to Austria, Germany and Hungary. Krampus is a popular figure of those few countries. They do celebrate Santa Claus. They have Santa Claus. But like... and here I am humming at home.
Like Befana, I'm guessing? Everything else? Like the guy just before we were talking about as well?
Yeah, so they have, like some of the other countries, they also have a terrifying, bloodthirsty monster called Krampus. Now, with a name that derives from the German word for claw, Krampus serves as the resident heavy of Santa's gang, dishing out beatings and other medieval-style punishments to naughty children. No, this is getting very dark, isn't it?
It's like, boom, yeah.
The legend of the creature dates back hundreds of years, but the church stamped out the majority of its influence in the 1800s. Today, the creature is still a minor Christmas character in some parts of Bavaria and Austria, where Krampus Day is held on the 5th of December. People dress up as Krampus and parade through the city streets, scaring people, and there are even some towns that hold festivals devoted to jokingly celebrating the history of the creature. As you can probably tell, gifts aren't really the Krampus' style. In traditional folklore, he was much more likely to provide misbehaving children with a beating from a birch or a rod, or, if they were lucky, a stern warning. In darker versions of the story, he was even said to kidnap the worst of a town's children, stuff them inside a burlap sack, and toss them in the river.
It's the Claus!
It sounds like somebody drowning kittens. It's
exactly.
terrible.
Alrighty, so in some countries like Russia, Siberia, Bosnia, Ukraine, Macedonia, Poland, and other former Soviet republics, they have got a guy called Ded Moroz, or otherwise known as Grandfather Frost. He's a gift giver. Like Santa, he wears a flowing red costume, sports a white beard, but he doesn't use a reindeer or ride a sleigh, except he drives a troika, which is a traditional horse-drawn sled, which is quite nice. Some of them as well, there's interesting aspects of him as well as his background. He used to be an evil and vicious sorcerer who would kidnap children and demand presents as a ransom. Over time, he was reformed, and now he gives gifts to children in order to atone for his once wicked ways. It's quite nice.
It is quite nice.
He arrives on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day giving gifts just like Santa. Basically, yeah. And although in some versions he'll also show up at parties and celebrations and give out gifts in person. So that's very nice of him.
That's lovely.
Now, Bex, quickly tell us about Santa Claus and Black Peter. Go!
Rightio. So Santa Claus is obviously the Dutch version of Santa Claus, with his traditional red costume, flowing white beard, and all-round jolly demeanour. He closely resembles the more famous North American version of Santa Claus. But unlike Santa Claus comes to the Netherlands every year in late November. He is said to arrive by steamboat from Spain, and after landing he is paraded through the city streets so that he can greet all the Dutch children. Santa Claus doesn't use elves, but he is instead assisted by Black Peter, a little boy who helps him hand out presents. Now, Black Peter has a little bit of a dodgy history, and it is said that he was a slave. There are nicer stories these days, but we won't go too much into that. Unlike Santa Claus brings children's gifts on the 5th of December, a holiday designed to celebrate the historical figure of St. Nicholas. Children place their shoes by the fireplace like other countries, along with some carrots for Santa Claus's horse. And if they've been good, there'll be candy and presents in the shoes come morning. Santa Claus doesn't leave the gifts himself. Instead, Black Peter climbs down the chimney and with the presents and goods for the kiddies. Bad kids get coal or bags of salt. In older versions of the legend, Black Peter would kidnap the worst of the children and take them away to Spain as punishment. Right.
Yeah. You're going to Spain.
Yeah.
And if you can run away from the bulls, then you're sorted, I guess.
Good luck to you, kid.
Yeah, that's probably what it is. Cool. Alright, here we go. The big fat man himself, the big guy, the creme de la creme, especially if you're in English-speaking countries, pretty much.
Yeah.
Father Christmas. Santa Claus. Santa's the biggest influence over everything, which an idea of Santa has been around for years and years and years and years and years. However, the jolly red man that you normally see nowadays is more associated, though, with a very cunning advertising campaign from Coca-Cola. That's right. Before then, he was, a guy dressed up, yep, sweet, gave gifts, all that kind of stuff. But the image that we know and love of him now is thanks to Coca-Cola.
Yeah,
not
indeedy.
Coke, because he'd be a skinny Santa.
Oh, no.
But yes, as you know, basically, as most of us probably are aware, for all you, the foreigner listeners at the moment, Santa Claus basically comes down the chimney after riding a sleigh pulled by reindeer, gives gifts for nice children. Families often leave snacks for him as well in the reindeer, but of course differ from country to country. We used to leave out milk and cookies for him, and carrots as well. And it was very cool, because every Christmas morning when we woke up, they were eaten. I had a bite taken out of it. So we knew he'd been there. So it was very cool.
Indeed.
It was awesome. His location also differs as well in some places from where he comes from, but basically it's the North Pole. Some countries, as we said, do cite Greenland as a traditional home. Others use the Lapland province of Finland.